Hey friends, you've heard of China's so-called economic miracle. In today's video, let me show you the miracle China doesn't want you to notice. A miracle that didn't need censorship, forced tech transfers, or trillion yuan bailouts, because it's happening right across the strait. That's right, Taiwan quietly became the real economic miracle. No ghost cities, no propaganda parades, no common prosperity slogans, just a small, free island that turned democracy, discipline, and innovation into rocket fuel for economic growth. And today, as Taiwan celebrates its 114th National Day, there has never been a clearer moment to say this out loud. The world's most remarkable economic success story today isn't China, it is Taiwan. When I worked in Beijing's finance circle, Taiwan wasn't discussed. It was just erased. Even saying, investing in Taiwan felt like crossing a red line. Now, it is the portfolio everyone wishes they bought 10 years ago. Now, let's look at Taiwan's economic performance. President Lai Ching-te's National Day speech today basically read like a scorecard of wins and achievements. While China's economic growth is negative, as I have talked about in depth before, Taiwan's GDP growth rate was just raised to 5.1% based on the Asian Development Bank, beating all the other Asian tigers, and of course, far surpassing China itself. The Taiwan Stock Exchange up 6 straight months, hitting a record 27,300 points. And Taiwan's total market cap just blew past 3 trillion US dollars, making it the 8th largest stock market on earth. The 8th largest in the world. Let that sink in. A nation of only 23 million people, smaller than one Chinese province, now commands a stock market bigger than Germany's and South Korea's. Well, Germany builds cars, South Korea builds ships and refrigerators. Taiwan builds the chips that power all of them. No oil fields, no colonies, no vast domestic market, just brains, courage, and the ability to innovate and make those, nanometers profitable. It's like watching David outgrow Goliath on market cap charts. Every time Beijing flexes a missile, Taipei flexes its balance sheet. And investors all over the world are voting with their money. Because profits speak louder than propaganda. And this isn't a speculative bubble. It is built on decades of engineering excellence, rule of law institutions, and transparent capitalism. Taiwan's market is now viewed as more trustworthy, more stable, and frankly more capitalist than China's, state-engineered casino. And here's the real kicker. Taiwan achieved all this without stealing a single patent, without forcing foreign tech transfers, and without gaming the WTO system by pretending to be a developing nation. No Made in China 2025, no espionage networks, stealing the Western R&D, no fake joint ventures built to extract the trade secrets. Taiwan grew the old-fashioned way, by earning trust, by competing on merit, not manipulation, by letting private enterprise, not party officials, pick the winners. China built a surveillance state. Taiwan built a semiconductor empire. And while Beijing tries to bully its way into global dominance, Taipei quietly earned its way into the world's economic elite. And there's another difference few talk about. Taiwan's prosperity is clean. It didn't poison rivers or choke cities to chase some GDP targets. It didn't build a miracle on slave labor and heavy smog. Taiwan's model is ethical capitalism, high-tech, green, transparent, and sustainable. It's a system that respects the people, the planet, not just profit. In other words, Taiwan is what China pretends to be when foreign CEOs visit. And Taiwan's influence doesn't stop at semiconductors. From bubble tea to human rights, from Taiwan pop culture to cheap diplomacy, its soft power travels. Its brand is trust. What is China's brand? Fear. One exports products, the other exports paranoia. And guess which one the world prefers. And here's what really separates Taiwan from China. Strategic foresight. While Beijing bet everything on domestic real estate and state control, Taipei bet on diversification and resilience. A decade ago, almost 40% of Taiwan's exports went to China. Today, that number has dropped sharply, replaced by booming trade with the US, Japan, and Southeast Asia, which is up nearly 60% over the past 5 years. So Taiwan didn't just decouple from China, it upgraded. It built multiple lifelines. And now, as China's economy crumbles under its own weight, Taiwan stands freer, stronger, and more globally connected than ever. That's not just some blind luck. That is strategic leadership. And the most underrated part of this miracle, Taiwan achieved all this under constant threat. Every day, Chinese PLA warplanes buzz its airspace, cyber attacks hit its government, disinformation floods its media, and yet the Taiwan markets stay open, its factories keep running, exports keep growing. This is not just economic strength we're talking about. This is psychological strength. Taiwan doesn't just survive intense pressure. It prospers under it. While China's economy shrinks, under its own paranoia, Taiwan thrives in the open, and confident in its people and in its freedom. That resilience, that quiet defiance is, the core of its miracle. And here's the biggest truth. Behind it all, Taiwan's success didn't come from luck or size. It came from its core values. And that's exactly why Taiwan deserves a full seat at the global table. Beijing's fake UN resolution 2758, its diplomatic bullying, its bans and threats have all kept Taiwan locked out of the United Nations and sidelined in WTO committees where it belongs. Yet even under, those adverse constraints, Taiwan has built a $3 trillion equity market, ranks top 10 in innovation, and outperforms most advanced economies. Imagine what Taiwan could achieve with full participation. If the UN and the WTO and the so-called rules-based order actually lived up to their own ideals, Taiwan's inclusion wouldn't just help Taiwan. It will make the global economy stronger, safer, and more resilient from the Chinese supply chain domination. Because you can't talk about innovative growth, inclusive growth, while excluding one of the world's most successful democracies. When I left Beijing, people used to laugh about Taiwan. Too small, too democratic, too fragile. Well, you know what? That tiny island now builds the chips running China's AI dreams and your iPhone. Meanwhile, China's so-called miracle economy is begging citizens to buy more ghost apartments and EVs nobody wants. So yeah, miracles don't need censorship, state subsidies, or threats. They need freedom, the trust, and a set of core values. And that is why the real economic miracle isn't in Beijing, it's in Taipei.